Tony D and Little Joan with I guess you could call this a Hollywoke hot take. Um, so Jimmy Kimmel had, I would call it kind of a non-apology apology on his show. Shout out to BMX Most Hated for posting the clip. Um, he calls it Jimmy Kimmel's half-hearted apology. It kind of is because it kind of skirts the issue. Um, he basically says he's sorry if what he said was misinterpreted. That's one of the things he says. He says a lot of things. He said he didn't mean to blame certain groups, but that just doesn't seem to be the case. I mean, what he said was that the MAGA crowd was trying to, you know, not take responsibility, I guess you could say, for one of their own kind of thing. At least that was the implication I got out of it. Um, so, but he rightly acknowledges that what he has to say won't make a difference. If you like him, you like him. If you hate him, you hate him. Um, but I gotta think the easiest thing would have been just to come out and say, hey, I'm really sorry for what I said. It was out of line. Like, that's what I would have done. If I was in his position, I would have come out and said, you know what? I'm really sorry. That I went too far. Or, I mean, if he really wanted to apologize, he could even acknowledge that he knew that he was sort of smearing everybody. I don't think he would have done that under any circumstances. That could have looked really bad for ABC. Um, so it's a sort of weaselly way to. I mean, this is what I assumed he would do. You know, it's not. You know, he's really sorry that you misinterpreted his joke. Um, but you know, like I said, at this point, who's watching Jimmy Kimmel? Probably no Donald Trump supporters. Very few. I mean, I'm sure there's a handful that are still watching. Maybe they have a spouse or a relative that still watches and they watch too. Um, you know, I haven't caught a clip in ages. Never really liked Jimmy's show, except for that one clip I watched when Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox did a scene from like a Back to the Future. Their Back to the Future characters did a scene. Um, but yeah, it's the late night format is dead, in my opinion. It's been dead for a while. Um, really, since Letterman left. Um, as funny as I thought Conan was, he was really good on the comedy and not so great on the interviews. I mean, he was there. He was okay, but he wasn't great. The only guy who really seemed to incorporate both was Craig Ferguson, and they just got him loose, which is a shame. But, you know, you have to say you're sorry for an apology to mean anything, and you have to be sorry. I don't think he is. I think his crying is fake. I think he's thinking about, losing money and being in a lot of trouble, I guess. Um, he claims to still have friends on the other side of the political aisle, and he wouldn't want to associate them. Yeah, I don't really believe that. I mean, I believe he probably still has friends who are on the other side of the aisle, but, um, and look, just admit it. I would say, just admit what you did. Um, but, he's not going to do that, unfortunately. Um, I don't think this will make much difference. I think he's done next go around with his contract. They'll probably lowball him to get rid of him. In other words, the rumor is he's getting somewhere between 16 to 20 million a year. So next time around, the studio will offer him like, 5 or 3, and he'll probably scoff at it and say, "Well, that's quite a drop." And I'm sure his team won't like that either. That's what I would do to get rid of him. Just lowball him in the next negotiation. I mean, you can give him a chance to get his ratings back up. I don't think this really does much for him. Every time he cries, it's so off-putting to me. A grown man crying. To me, like, the gutsy thing would have been to come out, say, "Hey, I know I screwed up. In my rush to bash Trump, I finally crossed the line, and I shouldn't have done that. I really pissed people off, and sorry about that. I should not have associated the killer with MAGA." But see, I think he still believes that's part of the problem. Like, he still believes some of what he said in general is true. That maybe it's not, maybe the shooter specifically wasn't MAGA, but that MAGA created the conditions of this situation or whatever. And I don't know what was said in the negotiations, of course, but this might be sufficient humiliation, at least, or humbling, that the stations would have the excuse to put him back on the air. Because Sinclair, I mean, even though they've held the line, they'll probably lose money on whatever they replace Jimmy with, right? I mean, they're paying for the affiliate feed. But it's not unprecedented. Where I live, we get the Philadelphia stations. And there was a narrative TV show that came out of, it was either CBS or NBC, I forget which one. But, and if you don't know the Philly market here is crazily into news. Like, every kind of news show we have multiple of that. So Philly has some of the best news you'll ever watch. They really do. And it's everything. And there's like a dozens of these local news programs that cover South Jersey and Philadelphia and what's going on, especially on Sundays. It's a crazy amount of stuff. I've been on one. I was on Philly Weekend, or no, it was called Weekend Filler. Weekend Filler. I've been on that twice. So one time there was a narrative show. I don't know why, but the local affiliate decided instead of showing that show, they would do yet another newscast. And it was all local news. And they didn't show, it was some cop show. I don't know. Maybe it was had low ratings or something. They felt that another news show in the Philly market was needed. So they preempted the feed for that show. So it can happen. Sinclair could decide, yeah, we're never airing Jimmy's thing again. Because he didn't really apologize. He kind of shifted the discussion to, I didn't mean to say anything that would imply that, Charlie Kirk, to denigrate Charlie Kirk since he was killed. That doesn't really address the issue. Like, we know you didn't say anything about Charlie. You were saying stuff about the assassin. And that's really part of the problem, too. It was a serious, serious thing. I mean, this would have been like, saying that MLK got shot by one of his own guys, Like one of the guys in his entourage may have, or at least that guys in his entourage were blaming other black people and not the racist white guy that shot him. So, even back then, I don't think that would have flown. And really, he's alienated half the country. They're never going to watch his show, but if he had come out with a real apology, say, hey, I've been caught up with politics for a long time now, and maybe it's time I backed off, and I took it too far, and I apologize. And then people on the other side of the aisle maybe would give his show a chance, at least for a time. I don't know. The reaction to this, I'm guessing, is going to be split down the middle. It's going to be fans of Trump saying he didn't really apologize, and I don't think he really did. And fans of Jimmy Kimmel saying, oh, you people can't accept an apology. I mean, he came out and he cried. Yeah, I feel like the tears are now fake. And by the way, he's never apologized for the other things he said, including rest in peace, Wheezy. That one is the one that I think should have gotten him fired, or should have gotten him called down into the studio offices for a serious talk about how he thinks like he could bring in an audience when he tells half the country, well, I hope you all drop dead, essentially. See, it's never a direct thing. Like, he doesn't come out and say, hey, if you support Donald Trump, I hope you drop dead. He says things in a roundabout way that implies that. And then if he's called out on it, he's like, well, no, that's not what I meant. So this is very similar to that. Oh, no, it's not what I meant. I didn't mean to say anything negative about Charlie Kirk. And he's shifting the discussion to Charlie and not that he was blaming MAGA for the shooting. So I'll continue to not watch him. I don't have a TV anymore. So I was just waiting for a clip like this. I mean, he's a total hypocrite. Even if he went back to having girls on his show, hot girls jumping on trampolines, and Adam Carolla became his sidekick, I still won't watch his show. He could always go back, right? If ABC was smart, I think, yeah, they'll just lowball him in the next contract negotiation so he walks away. What are you really getting out of this? Is this what you want for your big late night show? I mean, first off, try some friggin' innovation, will you? You could be the first network to cancel your late night talk show and put on something else, anything else, something original. Does it always have to be a late night talk show? Wonder what people are saying in the comments. He is so fake. No wonder nobody watches him. I used to watch TV for entertainment and fun, not to see political-driven comments everywhere and bullies. No more TV for me until it's real. Interesting. Yeah, I have to agree. It was always his intention, says another. Crocodile tears don't fool no one. Fake. Who cares about either person? Fake apology. He has never been funny to me. I mean, this is the internet. It's usually pretty nasty. Fake, fake, fake. So there's one reply here. It was 100% his intention to blame a specific group. Typical leftists can't stop lying. This is from the reply from the poster. Yeah, I would agree with these assessments. But, these guys are probably on a similar political path as me. So, what would I do if I was Bob Iger? Resign. What do you do about Jimmy? Yeah, let him go at the next contract negotiation. I mean, this was their opportunity to let him go and be done with it, and replace the show with anything else. Something that makes money. Something cheaper, even if you just jettison Jimmy, you'd be saving $16 to $20 million a year, and you could put another late night host on, and I gotta think that would, if you had a late night host who just wasn't political, like you hire a new guy, comedian type guy. There's a million guys probably do this better than Jimmy. I never thought even Jimmy was good at this. What part of this is he good at? Jay Leno was good at the monologue and sucked pretty much at everything else. Conan was great at the comedy skits and was okay on some of the other stuff. Letterman was as close to Johnny Carson as you can get. Like, Johnny was good at all of it. Letterman was good at most of it. Occasionally, his interviews went off the rails, but that was kind of cool. He butchered a monologue on purpose because I think he seemed bored with it. Jimmy Fallon, he's kind of okay at the comedy sometimes, and depending on the guest, he can be okay interviewer because he's so friggin' positive about everything. Craig Ferguson, he was good at all of it. I guess it was just his accent. Stephen Colbert seems to be good at none of it. Like Jimmy, he's way too political to be funny anymore. His guest choice is tainted by that. I mean, what's left? The monologue? No. The monologue's particularly bad with Colbert and Jimmy, in my opinion. I mean, it's all just my opinion, but... So what are you getting out of this guy? Yeah, you're promoting things, but if nobody watches him... I mean, we're talking... In the key demo, he has less than 126,000 viewers or 29,000. I mean, that's really low. I mean, that is sad. We live in a country, in America, we have 350 million people. And granted, this isn't a kid show, so you can eliminate the kids, but I mean, he has lower ratings than Colbert, and Colbert's done. So what are you doing, ABC? Why are you even keeping him around? Is this a tax write-off? Don't you have enough tax write-offs? It doesn't make any sense. Get somebody new in there. Get some hot chick to host it. Get Nikki Glazer to host the show. She's pretty funny, and she's pretty good looking. Jimmy, I mean, what do you get out of him other than people know his name? So what? We know lots of celebrities, and most of them all have the same damn political opinions. If you had somebody new, I mean, the great thing about Craig Ferguson too was he never got political. I don't think he ever did. He was Scottish, wasn't from the United States, and he was funny and fun. Jimmy has gotten way too political. He needs, in my opinion, to just retire. Give him some sort of buyout, buy him out in his last year, and put in somebody else. Put in anybody else. Anyhow, it's just my opinion. And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Just had to react to Jimmy. Ugh. And please, just stop crying on TV. Who wants to see that? Oh, it's an emotional time. Yeah. What are you, a girl? Stop crying. All right, we'll see you.